Greetings to everyone out there watching this video today. Right here. Today we're going to take a no spoiler look at the A0 module, Danger at Darkshelf Qyarry, designed for characters level 1 through 3. But I have found a cover out there that has this module set at 4 through 7. Today I'm going to be also giving you some of my thoughts and suggestions on running this module. This adventure was published back in March of 2013. Written by Skip Williams for Wizards of the Coast, 33 years after the original series was written. Designed as a prelude in the A0 through 4 modules against the Slavelords hardcover classic edition. Here on my hands I have the PDFs for both Against the Slavers and the 5e conversion that you can find on Wizards of the Coast. I will post both of those in the comments and description area below. I think it'd be a great idea if Wizards of the Coast would make a 5th edition reboot like they did with the Ghost of Saltmarsh. This way, new players to the game can also enjoy this timeless classic like I did when it was brand new back in 1980 and 81, when the original Slavelords series was written. Tell me, after you've watched this video all the way through to the end, what you think of my no spoiler approach. For those who know me, they'll tell you that I believe in experiencing the adventure, not ruining it for those who haven't had the opportunity to enjoy it for themselves. After all, where's the fun in ruining it for someone? Danger at Darkshelf Qyarry is delivered in a way that makes it easier for you to transition into the next module of the Slavelords series. It was written so that the Dungeon Master needs to do some planning. I would suggest possibly reading this module through all the way 3 to 4 times and take some notes on 3x5 cards that you might find that the players will need to know. I've been doing this approach since the early 1980s when I started running campaigns myself for people throughout the neighborhood that were interested in learning how to play D&D. The one thing you're going to need to know is how are you going to make your players invested in the game. Now, I'll definitely be giving you some examples near the end of this video. There is nowhere on any of the Greyhawk maps that I have that shows where Darkshelf or the Pelera River might be located. The module says that Darkshelf itself is located on the coastline of the Sea of Girnat in Nirod. This might be because the Pelera River is a lesser river, or might have been added by Skip Williams himself as a location for this module setting. I find this interesting because there's mention of a port, and as everyone knows, port towns are used for delivery and pickup of trade goods, and also a great hub for commerce, which could be a complete new setting all in itself. The adventure opens up where the players are greeted by the overlord of Darkshelf. He asks for them to come to his private office in the town hall to discuss personal matters. This feels pretty generic to me. It kind of follows along with the you meet in a tavern scenario. The overlord's name is Meester. He's a stocky, middle-aged man with graying hair and beard, respectively. After pleasantries, he begins his request. He says, and I quote, the results from the quarry seem to be too good to be true, and the raid on the slavers' camp was too quick and clean, if you ask me. He then starts counting on his fingers, and he's pacing back and forth across the room. And then there's the dwarves that work in the quarry at night, but no one's ever seen. And of course, the terrible attacks we've had around Darkshelf. He turns and faces you. Something's not right at the quarry. Will you take a look at it for us? Now, any party member who's paying attention to his tone of voice or his body language would be asking these questions. And several of them do come to mind. Who is running the quarry? And what is these results that you speak of? It's a really good question. Can you elaborate on this raid? And where was the slavers' camp? I'd like to check it out. Tell us, is there anything at all that you know about these dwarves that work in the mines at night? Such as numbers, or has anyone overheard or seen anything like the villagers that work in the mines? What are these attacks that you speak of? What information do you have? Is there a suspect? Is it man or beast? Are there any other access points to the quarry other than the road that leads out of town, such as a back road or a sea access? Are we the first that you've sent to check out the quarry? What information, if any, do you have that you can share with us? Is there anyone else in town or in the surrounding area that we could talk to get information? A resourceful dungeon master would have 3x5 index cards all ready to go for these answers. Now here is where you're going to start getting answers to your questions. He does hesitate a bit before admitting that he did send someone else. He says it wasn't much the quarry as the attacks. I sent a man named Quinian to find out what's been killing our people and leaving the bodies looking half chewed up. He did bring me a few reports, but I haven't heard from him in a while now. And his face becomes fairly grim. And then he continues, frankly, I'm worried. I'm hoping that by looking into the quarry, you may find Quinian alive, I mean. He then tells the party that Quinian is a human monk and that he's been sending information back and forth as he gets it. In his last communication, he told him about a hidden dock on the river, just below the quarry. He also said that he was going to continue looking around the quarry without the foreman finding out. His report included the location of a ventilation shaft and also the location of the hidden dock. He then expresses to you that he's worried about Quinian and his safety. Now this leads me to think that there's something going on like previous involvement with Quinian. Maybe he was a family member. Maybe he was a previous companion. Maybe he's done other missions that could cause this concern. So, to be perfectly honest with you, every time I've ran this adventure, there's always been someone there that thinks with their wallet. So, he does agree to pay the players a handsome reward. Sadly though, he tells you that the money has to come from the village coffers, providing that you find out what's really going on at the quarry, put a stop to all the trouble, and find Quinian. It was also reported that the dwarves found a bit of gold deep inside the quarry. Now, I don't know if I believe him or not, but if you stumble across any, you can keep it. To me, this sounds like I don't care what you do or what you find. Just get the job done. Now, I have a few suggestions to get your players invested in this adventure. In the past, I've started my players out in Saltmarsh, and I've ran them through the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh and Danger at Darkwater, placing breadcrumbs in several locations throughout the adventure, like Lincoln fights in the tavern, town council briberies, even religious cults into the Slavelords activities in this area. I've had the smugglers and the slavers have an alliance with one another. When dealing with the slavers, the smugglers will fly their colors of the slavers on their ship. This isn't hard to do, but on the part of someone who's got to have a creative mind. Or also unknown to the smugglers, there's a double agent from the slavers filtering Shanghai prisoners through the network. He or she must be able to escape the smuggler stronghold. When the players are investigating the lizardman or lizard folk compound in the Hool Marsh, this double agent is seen drugging and kidnapping the lizard children in Danger at Darkwater. Before he or she gets caught, though, they take a poison potion to avoid capture. The players find a note, a tattoo of the slavers, or even something linking him and her to the mayor's office of Saltmarsh. Another suggestion would be after the players finish the sinister secret Saltmarsh, one of the churches just happened to hire the players to get them a slab of granite from Darkshelf. So one of the local craftsmen can carve a new altar or a new statue of one of their deities. This could have been paid for by a special courier who has been missing for a month now. And his family has asked the church for them to help. Or you could tie the N1 module against the cult of the reptile god to the slavers, having the villagers there being transported by way of convoy to the nearest navigational river, where the smugglers are waiting to help the slavers at Saltmarsh take the prisoners to them. A great way to get your players invested would also be, let's say, that special courier. It just happens to be a family member of one of the players. I would leave breadcrumbs all over the series. Before finding this person, I could have him as a personal servant of Stallman Clem, the founding member of the original 9, or a manservant of the exalted drow priestess of Loloth, who just happens to be called Eldrith. I think I pronounced that right. There are several other ways that you can come up with to tie this in there, just so your players can get the luxury of learning their character before diving into this mega module. Now I know I've referenced several AD&D modules in this video. For my spoiler-free review on the Saltmarsh trilogy, right over here to the left. You can click on that. Now until next time, I thank you for watching. Now, grab that D8 and roll damage.